Hey friends, there's a dual nature that exists when it comes to getting over someone you truly love. It's like having to live a double life, where every day you wake up knowing you have to keep going to work, keep fulfilling your duties, keep smiling at the people around you when and if you can, while also dealing internally with a perpetual sadness, a longing, a yearning, an emptiness that your heart knows logically is not the responsibility of one single person, and yet, no matter how long time goes on, your heart has a hard time detaching your sense of fulfillment with this one person that you so wholeheartedly love and devoted your wholeheartedness to. There's a logic in knowing that heartbreak's a part of life. You may know this while also feeling wholeheartedly frustrated and betrayed by the universe. Because maybe you already took your time by yourself for a long time beforehand to learn from prior lessons, to develop your comprehension of who you are and what you'd like to experience. You already took the time to be on your own. But apparently, the excitement and the novelty and the potential that you saw in this person that came into your life after that break ended up not being the forever fulfillment that you were hoping to experience after such a long time of finding yourself. There's a frustration and a sense of betrayal from the universe when you asked to remain alone unless the right person came along. And then feeling that because something didn't work out with someone, they may not then be the right person, you feel like you were perhaps tricked into believing in something that wasn't real, tricked into seeing something in someone and allowing your heart to expand for someone, only to be then left behind, inevitably in the end, still. And you may ask the universe, why did you allow this to happen? Why did you connect me with this person if it was going to end up this way? And logically, it's because there were lessons to be learned, but you still have to ask, why then was it so intense? Why was the connection so potent? Why was it so impactful if it was only for a lesson? And why does the pain persist for so long afterwards if it was only a lesson? You may understand logically the patterns of why you chose this person. You may realize or learn from external sources that there's a pattern of overcoming a narcissistic relationship only to then fall into an avoidant one because you're seeking the opposite of what you thought is the opposite of what you'd experienced before. And so you're seeking traits or characteristics or signs of something that would be different when you end up getting an equally hurtful experience in the end anyway. Not because this person was trying to hurt you, nor did they actually truly hurt you with their own behaviors, but because of your own attachment to that person, the intensity of your attachment, the intensity of your hope and your expectation that you would have a different outcome. The intensity of that hope and that expectation of a different outcome is exactly why you felt the pain from the avoidant after the narcissist. Because you were really hoping that you would be done with the pain. You were hoping you'd learned enough lessons by then. And you're wondering why you're still deserving of more lessons when they're only causing the pain and all you want is the peace and the stability. And you understand logically that the lessons are learning in how to be stable for yourself. But then the frustration is, why does everyone else get to have a partner by their side during that? Why do other people get to have partners without the frustration? Or during the frustration? You understand that there was an attachment to the excitement of having a new opportunity to actually have love after trauma. That there was a pursuit in seeking stability. But none of this actually takes away from the fact that there was truly a real mutual affinity between two people. That there was compatibility in terms of hobbies and interests, and the mutual enjoyment of each other's company, and the chemistry of each other's emotions together. Just because two people may have had a trauma bond doesn't mean they didn't also have a very fulfilling and important connection together. We're not blaming love solely on neurochemical fluctuations or embedded traumas or attachment styles. Clearly there's more to two people than just these things they've developed over time. And that is why the love persists even past the lessons. When we're trying to get over someone, we may logically know that we need to detach from an expectation of what we expect from a person or a resistance to what we're not getting, to dismantle codependency, to alleviate resentment. But it also comes with learning to do this without becoming numb and apathetic towards a person, without villainizing your former partner as a source of evil or a source of mistreatment or a source of narcissism when they truly weren't. It's important not to become angry and resentful and hateful towards someone who wasn't intentionally or truly harming you, but simply was acting in a way that wasn't in accordance with what your attachment and your expectation levels would have preferred to see. You don't have to stop loving a person just because you can't be with them either. And this has nothing to do at all with being obsessed with someone, or with an unrequited love, nor with limerence or an overextended attachment to someone that is not attached to you. This is simply an acknowledgement that you don't have to become bitter and hateful towards someone that you're no longer with. You can continue to love them. You can continue to wish them the best in life. And when their energy comes into your consciousness, you can choose to send them love, and you can choose to send them appreciation without having to have them physically present, or to be able to having the ability to verbally express it to them in person. There's a dual nature when you're trying to get over someone you truly love. When you know that it's healthy to allocate your resources of devotion and love to other avenues such as family, friends, hobbies, volunteer work, perhaps, passion projects, and yet fully knowing that you feel through all of these a sense of emptiness, unfulfillment, and incompletion without having that preferred partner by your side. You know it's important to find enjoyment without them, and yet ever since you met them, all you ever wanted was to experience life with them. And even when you were in a partnership with them, and you knew that space was healthy and individual time was healthy, there was always a feeling of a void when they weren't there to experience it with you. No matter how independent or adventure-spirited you are, when you truly love someone and they're not there with you, nothing quite feels the same. And you realize that no matter how hyper-independent you are as a person, how strong you are, and how capable you are of finding fulfillment in your own life, you find that you're tired of always having to do it alone. You're tired of not having that partner with you, that confidant, that companion. You may acknowledge how during the relationship there were disappointments and there were misalignments that perpetuated the length of the relationship. You may acknowledge how often and frequently you fighted over trivial things, and how your prides and your egos would get in the way for far too long in between, in those periods of silence and separation. And yet you still miss that affection and that tenderness and that companionship that truly existed between you both. You may logically acknowledge that the relationship in the state that it was in was not healthy, not sustainable, or no longer even alive and accessible in the way that it used to be. And yet your heart still only wants to give itself to that one person. You may know that you walked away due to disrespect, or to unmet needs, or to a hesitant acceptance that the path was never going to fulfill the potentials and the dreams that you were holding on to through its duration. And even though you walked away for self-respect and for the potential of your own future, you still cry every day and every night. And the pride doesn't outweigh the loss. You may logically know that there's open roads ahead, that there's other fish in the sea. But that doesn't mean you don't still grieve deeply and profoundly the potential for the future that you longed for with that person and gave your all of your heart towards for that person. You may know that each day you have to wake up and keep going and keep striving and keep finding your own way. And that you have to find the daily joys that exist moment to moment. But doing this with that profound, perpetual sadness. Trying to stay strong and stay positive and uplifting for the other people in your life, but always with that perpetual sadness. Trying to find excitement and motivation for future plans, for celebrations, for holidays, but always having that perpetual sadness. It's been 2 months for me since I felt I had to take the choice to walk away from someone that I deeply, deeply care for. And the sadness is profound even to this day. And I can't find it in myself to keep a bitter, closed heart, because it is even just that much more painful to be closed off to a love that broke my world wide open. I don't want to let go of the potential for that intensely profound love, and so I find it very difficult to close off to the source that I found in it. I know that my love is internally generated, and yet I know that there is only one person who actually inspired it to come out full force. And no one before or since has done the same. Logically, there is a need when you're getting over someone to balance your tendency for limerence and your tendency for romanticization with the knowledge of what wasn't working. But you don't have to do this by being bitter. You don't have to do this by repressing the love you would like to feel for someone, even if you can't express it to them. How I've worked through this on my own is by allowing myself to acknowledge the pain in its entirety and to not hide the grief that I have about it. To use this channel as a way to express and navigate how I feel through it, perhaps in my hopes to help others as well. And when this loved one comes up in my thoughts, I allow myself to appreciate them, to tell them in my mind and my heart how much I love them, and that I hope for their happiness and the best intentions for their life moving forward, whether it involves me or not. I've chosen to pray for this person for their happiness, for their health, for their peace, for their stability, for their guidance and protection. I don't pray that they come back into my life unless they are actually ever meant to again, upon their own free will and in accordance with their own life path. But I do pray, regardless of my presence in their life, that they do have the best life that they can in accordance with what makes them the most happy. And I can relieve a lot of tension in myself by allowing myself to do this, because I can show them the love, and I can be there for them, and I can support them, and I can energetically be a loving force for them without the pain and the misunderstanding and the expectation that comes with being in a traditional relationship with them. The trick is to recognize that your love never leaves you. There's no need to villainize or dismantle the love you have for someone when they're no longer with you. There's no need to harden your heart against your feeling of love that you have for them still. Even if you can't directly say it to them, the love that you feel may be the very thing that they need, energetically pulsing through the waves and frequencies of their life. The trick to getting over someone that you truly love is just to never stop loving them. And that doesn't mean sticking yourself in the past or waiting for them to come around. In cases where they may never do so. The trick is not to expect a return or to expect a reciprocation or a miracle even, but just to know that your love remains pure. It remains there for them, as it always has from the beginning. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.